Hi, this is Kathy Lewis from Tall Tree Designs, and this video tutorial is going to be talking about decreasing stitches. We're going to look at two methods to decrease stitches, and these are two methods that are commonly used in lace knitting. And the reason there are two is because the two techniques give you a slightly different appearance on your final knitted piece, and I'm going to show you that. So let me start by just knitting a couple of stitches to get into the row here. And the first thing we're going to do is a knit two together. It's super simple. If you know how to knit one stitch, you can easily do knit two together. What you're going to do is go to the second stitch on your left needle and insert your needle through that stitch and the first stitch on your needle. So both of them are on there as if you're just doing a regular knit stitch. Wrap your yarn around and finish the stitch, pulling that loop through both of those stitches on your needle. You've decreased one stitch and it creates a little ridge on the work that leans to the right. Okay? So just like a knit stitch, except you're catching the first two stitches at the same time and knitting them together as one. The opposite of that technique is the slip-slip knit. The slip-slip knit will also decrease one stitch, but it will lean a little bit to the left. And the reason it's called slip-slip knit is what they would like you to do is insert your needle as if to knit, and just transfer the stitch to the right needle. Then separately take the next stitch and do the same thing. That has changed the orientation of your needle. So now, if you put those back on without changing it, you can knit those two together and it's going to lean to the right. However, sorry, to the left. It's going to lean to the left. I'm just putting them back on in the correct orientation because there's a much easier way to do this in one step. So whenever you see slip, slip, knit, all you really have to do is knit two together, but through the back loop. Okay, so you start with the first needle, first stitch on your left needle, insert the right needle down through the top, through the first two stitches and out the back of your work, just like that. Wrap your yarn around and then pull that loop up through both stitches at the same time and off the needle. So you've decreased a stitch there, but this time it leans a little bit to the left. I'll do that one more time for you. The needle goes down through the top of the first stitch and the second stitch and comes out the back of the work. Wrap your yarn around and pull that loop up through both stitches as you pull them off the needle. So let me just purl back across that row so we can get a good look at what we've done. Whenever you have a pattern that doesn't specify how it wants you to decrease stitches, if it just says, for example, decrease 4 stitches evenly across the next row, I would just knit two together, or I would purl two together if that's what I was going on the wrong side of the fabric and it was purled stitches. You do it the same way. You just, as if you're doing one stitch, you do two at the same time. But when you're knitting lace, pay attention to the instructions because whether it leans right or left is going to be critical to creating the pattern the designer has created for you. Okay. Now we can see those a little bit more clearly. Okay. Here is our decrease using knit two together, leaning to the right. And here are our decreases using slip, slip, knit, although really all we did was knit two together through the back loop and they lean to the left. And that is how you do decreases in lace knitting.